Welcome to the channel, Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Emotional incest would be one of the most crippling psychological problems in our communities today, given the single mother rate. The hostility, the calamity, the separatedness, the dualism in the minds of these single mothers, the escapism, the way in which they use this as a convenience, the division, derision, the abuse that comes out of the way in which they use their children as therapists is profound. It's selfish, self-centered, has no regard of the future of the children, adult children. So by this point, most of the damage is done. It becomes part of their character and personality to depend on the mother or the father, given it be a son or a daughter. The combinations are all different and change. And then if you run into one of these people and begin a relationship with them, it begins as being very well hidden. The emotional incest will be brilliantly hidden. That's how they do it. They know how to disguise it, camouflage it, chameleonize it, and it won't strike until they've had their fill of their masculinity or femininity. Then the claws will come out. It works parallel with narcissism. A lot of these people are covert narcissists. They'll use passive-aggressive tormenting tactics to spread their poison and damage and trauma. They know what they're doing. For those of you who think they don't, they do know what they're doing. They're stuck in this formation, psychological formation. They do depend on their children for love and support and therapy and counselling, even though they're not equipped in most cases. I was ministering to a woman yesterday whose ex-husband had a stroke. The man that she's been with for nearly 10 years had to intervene. The two daughters of the woman and the ex-husband called upon her to come to the rescue to the father. The father showed no regard for anybody but himself. And the partner of the woman said, "You need to pull back." She rang me for advice. I agreed. I said, yes, you do need to pull back. You were using this opportunity to bring reconciliation between you and your children. Given what happened at the breakup, they blamed the mother for the breakup. I said, you need to get your mind in order, come back to putting the relationship, your current relationship, in its right perspective before you lose it. I said, because you will lose it. Let the dead bury their own dead. Let the daughters do what the daughters have got to do with daddy, and you get on with the course of your life. She listened to my advice. She rang me and thanked me and said, yes, I was right. Sometimes these people need to be confronted and told that they have to put their boundaries back in place. Covert emotional incest has an ugly way of resurrecting itself. It will try and try and try again, particularly from the child to the parent side, because the parent conditions the children to be so dependent on the child, they feel insecure, even as adults, without a close connection, intimate type connection with the parent. When you're trying to be the partner of these people, it's very difficult because you can be dealing with a person that goes into a dualistic psychosis where they'll split themselves between the parent and the partner, between the children and the partner, and then this begins an emotional starvation type, passive-aggressive torment, frustration to the person that they're having the relationship with. And a lot of these people lose their relationships because they're too entangled and dependent upon the relationship that they're having with their children. This is used as a guise. They'll say it's all part of the way in which we love each other, but it's not. It's compensating for the place they need to take in life. They're not stepping up to the plate in their relationships in life, and that's why they fail. And that's why a lot of these people are medicated, they're on drugs, they turn to alcohol. Many of these people are demonized because of their abusive behavior by way of DNA extra-maternal intimacy. It's a maternal affair, as it were, which works against their sociological affair, their normal affair, and their normal relationship. The extramarital affair works against their normal relationship, and most people will not tolerate the lack of boundaries, the lack of structure, the taxing of the emotional incest away from the relationship that they're trying to have. And more often than not, as I said before, these people will abandon the partners of these covert emotional incest people will be abandoned due to the duress that it puts on the person that's trying to have a relationship with them. And my advice to you is, if you are suffering the CPTSD or just the PSTD or the PTSD trauma that's coming from this kind of a relationship, I would advise you sooner rather than later to get some therapy, get some advice. I'd be more than happy to talk with you on how to deal with such a relationship. It's not going to be easy. It's definitely not something that, unless these people want help, that you're going to be able to help. I've known women that have gone into their 50s and 60s and just given in the end because their husband's still tied to their mummy. And these mummies, boys, are dangerous. Very, very dangerous people. They're hostile. They possess their mother. They don't want anyone else near their mother. They're passive aggressive to boot. They're very, very dangerous people in our societies. So my advice to you, if you are a partner of one of these, maybe the partner of mummy's boy or the partner of mummy, you need to look up covert emotional incest, get your head around it, and make your own personal decision on what you're going to do. I've had a couple of these relationships now, and I've had to abandon them due to the negligence associated with these people. They're just negligent. And it's a matter of fact, I don't think they know how to have a normal, healthy relationship. I just don't think they know how. And as I said, that many of them are medicated, dependent on alcohol, weed, and other drugs, medications, to try and get through with the dysfunction that they've brought on themselves. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Gosford, the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, share if you will. My contact details are in the description below. Bye for now.